Hey guys, this is a long overdue video on disassembling, assembling, general cleaning, and shell swapping for the HC Dyna Foam Duct Blaster. I'm going to use my Blue Dyna for this video, and it has definitely shot more than 1000 foam ducts without any cleaning. Probably closer to around 1500 shots if I'm not wrong. In my opinion, it still shoots quite well, but I heard some users say that it loses accuracy if it is not cleaned periodically. So here we are, opening up this Dyna Blaster and also changing to the transparent red and black shells that I received recently. Let's show off the results first. I love these transparent red and black colors for this Dyna Blaster. The red initially looked a bit too light, especially on the transparent shell. But after inserting the fire control, flywheel cage, pusher and other parts in, it somehow blends in and darkens to this candy red color, which I really love. It also perfectly matches my favorite red and black color combinations and my primary blaster, the Blizzard Pyro AEB. So let's move on to the disassembling, assembling and shell swapping process. To mention some disclaimers, I do not take apart my Dynas very often, so this video is done based on trial and error and also consists of tips from various experienced players in my community and from HC, the company that made this blaster. So this video may not be the best step-by-step tutorial or a definitive guide out there. Do let me know in the comments if you spot any mistakes along the way or if there is a better way to do a particular step. There are chapters for each process should you need to skip ahead. These are a few of the Dyna upper shells or top slides that I got. The transparent ones are for the newer versions of the blaster, while the CNC aluminium one is for the older version. According to the seller, the older metal top slide is not cross-compatible with the newer versions, as the inner slots for the circuit boards are different, unless some special modifications are made. I have an old version, which is this limited edition yellow and purple one. There is a simple way to check if your Dyna is the old version or the new version, by comparing the battery compartment doors. The old one has a wider tab on top and the newer one has a narrower tab. The new battery door tab will not fit well into the old slides slot, and vice versa. Quickly showing off the rest of the different coloured shells which I bought, which I intend to swap out with my other Dyna. Now, let's disassemble the blaster by removing all the screws from the top slide. Remember to organize and keep the screws properly so you will not mix them up. Slowly nudge out the 3 switches. It is important to take your time and be gentle and careful with the boards and wires when taking the blaster apart. If you intend to swap out the lower shell, you will need to remove the trigger by hammering out the pin that holds it in place with a small rod, hammer and pliers. Please make sure to hammer it out from this side of the blaster. Gently nudge out the trigger and spring from the bottom. I also removed the second pin from the grip area. This pin is for securing grip sleeves in place, which many of you have asked for, but it seems that the transparent one which I have is already out of production. However, I think there are still some Chinese sellers such as Dark Bros, which still makes these grip sleeves in black. Next, take out the magazine release button and spring by unscrewing it. There is this metal piece at the lower shell which is supposed to block the original trigger from being pulled too far back. Please take it out and put it into a newer lower shell if needed. In my case, I did not install it as my CNC metal trigger already has a shorter trigger pull and travel. Putting aside the old lower shell, now we need to put everything we took out into this new black transparent lower shell. Please make sure that the trigger's spring is inserted properly into the inner notch. Please also make sure that two pins are hammered back into the same side of the holes that they came out from. For a more detailed video on the assembling of the lower half of the blaster, please check out my video on the CNC metal trigger upgrade for the Dyna, link at the top right corner. Checking to see if the mag release works. Now let's move on to the disassembling of the top slide, starting with the front side post. Please note that the back screw is longer than the front screw and is meant to secure the barrel in place, so do not mix them up. Remove the barrel by applying pressure inside the inner wall with your finger and hooking it up. Remove the top two small screws holding the flywheel cage. Remove the two screws for the rear side post, which also holds the solenoid pusher. Flip the slide over and remove the 4 screws holding the circuit box. Gently nudge out the components while the screws are being removed. There is quite a lot of duct dust and residue accumulated at the duct flight stabilizer. I used a tissue to wipe them away and later with a keyboard brush to clean it further. Remove the 2 Phillips head screws securing the wires to the pusher and the last 2 Phillips head screws connecting to the front side post LED. I also used the tissue and keyboard brush to remove the residue from the slide. Cleaning the inner components, flywheels and cage with the keyboard brush. It is good to keep some dust on the flywheels as it will increase the bite on the darts and improve FPS. I also cleaned the barrel off screen later on by pulling through with a soft cloth. Now to assemble the inner components into the new transparent red top slide. There is a tiny O-ring at the front side post. It is to stop the light from the LED from bleeding from the sides. Remove it from the old slide first. Next, pull out the LED's plug from the main board first, and it is easier to install it back into the slide this way. Put the Phillips screws back in. Align the wire board properly and screw it in. Plug the LED wire back into the main board. Put the dark flight stabilizer and cage into the top slide. Make sure the flight stabilizer is facing the right direction and that it sits nicely within the inner notch in the slide. Everything should snap back into place when done properly. Next, insert the barrel into the slide carefully and avoid any wires on the way in. Put the 4 screws back in for the boards. Next, hold the pusher in place and screw in the rear side post. Hold the flywheel cage in place and screw in the top 2 screws. Insert the tiny O-ring into the notch at the front of the slide and screw in the front side post. Make sure the longer screw is at the back. Plug in the LiPo battery and test the switches to check if the top slide is assembled properly, the wheels are spinning, and the pusher is pushing. Slot the switches back into the lower shell and tuck the wires neatly into the space near the battery compartment. Close the shell and put back the screws. Do not over-tighten the screws as the shell may crack. I know some people say that blue Loctite should be used for some of the internal screws, but so far, the only thing that needed blue Loctite for me is the pusher part. also got new 20 round magazine extensions in red and a new black flat magwell from AK Blaster mod. And here is how the blaster looks like after installation. Loving the matching red and black. Now to confirm if it works well with a chronograph test. Looking good. Overall, the process took me about an hour as I forgot certain steps and had to remember or redo them. If you are changing the Dyna shells, it will require some patience and time, but the end result is definitely worth it. Do you like the transparent red and black color combinations for your blasters? If not, what other color do you prefer and would like to see? Feel free to leave your comments below. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you found this video helpful. Thank you and see you.